it's Trina, and I think it's about time for another book haul. I did switch to doing my book hauls seasonally, so I'm only going to do these, you know, every once in a while because I don't buy that many books, and I do plan to do a library haul coming up sometime soon. I kind of want to space these out. This haul today are books that I have bought or been sent or were gifted to me or whatever, and I've got a total of 12 of them here that I have acquired this fall. So the first two books are books that I purchased for myself. One of those is Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo, and I grabbed a copy of this book at a Leigh Bardugo signing that was happening at my local indie bookshop. It was amazing to meet her. This is the second book in the Six of Crows duology, and I did pick this copy up because I do own the first book and I ended up really enjoying Six of Crows, so I wanted to kind of have just the completed collection. This is a series set in a fantasy world. This world is made up of people that do have magic and some people that don't have magic, so there are a lot of different races and nations and a lot of prejudices between these peoples, and this is following a group of 6 people who are kind of living in the slums of this one city, and they all work together in this gang, and they end up signing up to pull off this really impossible heist. The things that are at stake in pulling this off is kind of like saving the whole world, because there's this mysterious drug that is threatening to mess with all of the magic in this land. Yeah. The second book I picked up for myself is Empire of Storms by Sarah J. Maas. This is the 5th book in the Throne of Glass series, and the reason that I picked a copy up of this is because I do actually collect this series. I do really enjoy it. I am a fan. I feel like it's pretty difficult to describe this series because the synopsis of the first book does not tell you anything about where the series goes, but this is definitely a series where the characters and the world and the story grow so much. I have already read this book and I did review it in one of my latest wrap-ups. Any of the books that I have already read and reviewed in this video, I'm going to put links to those reviews or the wrap-ups where you can find more of my thoughts in them down in the description. Some of you guys may know that back in August I had a brief hospital stay, and during that my husband wanted to give me some gifts, like to help make me feel better, and so he bought me some books. And the first 2 books that he bought me were Star Cursed and Sister's Fate, both by Jessica Spotswood. These are books number 2 and number 3 in the Cahill Chronicles trilogy. I already own book 1, and he just wanted to complete this series for me because this is one of my favorite series. This is a fantasy historical series about 3 sisters who are witches, and they live in a puritanical society that basically burns witches alive or locks women away in mental asylums if they're so much as suspected of having magical powers. So these 3 actual witches are trying to hide their powers. It's very feminist. There's a big push for like women's rights within this society, and a lot of the side characters and even one of the main sisters are diverse in terms of sexuality and race. I really love the magic of this series. I love the sister relationships, and I really loved the romance that the main character has with her book boy. I really enjoy this series, so I am glad to now own all 3 of the books in it, and also I have done a 5 reasons why you should read this trilogy video, so if you guys want to know more of it and need a little push to check this one out, please check out that video. My husband also got me a copy of A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness because this is one of my all-time favorite books. It had such a strong impact on me, but I did not own a copy, and he knew that I really wanted it. This is a story about a little boy that is facing a lot of hardships in his life, some family struggles with the relationship of his parents that has fallen apart. He's being bullied at school, and to cope with this, he kind of calls upon a monster to come and help him take on his fears and his struggles that he's going through in his life. And this story was just very personal to me. I also had a couple of really wonderful friends send me some book gifts during that time when I was sick, and the first of those is from my friend Rebecca over at Y Mermaids. She sent me a copy of Illuminae by Amie, Kaufman, and Kristoff. I loved this book so much when I read it last year, but I didn't own a copy, and with Gemina about to come out, I was like, I want to own these. I want to collect this. This is a science fiction series. This first book is about a planet that has been destroyed, and the group of survivors that have gotten off of the planet safely are fleeing on a spaceship, and the company that blew up that planet is on another spaceship chasing them. And on the survivors' spaceship, a lot of stuff is just going wrong. Like, their systems are failing, there's an illness that is outbreaking on one of the ships, so there's just a lot of stuff going wrong. This is like a survival story in space, and I'm sure that everyone knows by now that this series is told in a multimedia format, really interesting way that the pages are laid out, but mostly it's told like a case file through IMs and emails and documents and stuff like that. Really love it, really glad to own this copy now. And And my friend Cahill sent me a copy of Gemina by Amie, Kaufman, and Kristoff. This is the second book in the Illuminae trilogy, and this one is just kind of continuing the story, but through different characters in this world, through their point of view and what they have witnessed. I have already read both of these books. Illuminae I reviewed sometime last year, and Gemina is going to be in my November wrap-up. I'm not sure if that video is going up before or after this one, but I will have a link to it down below as soon as possible. So if you want to hear more of my thoughts on either of these two books, check out those reviews. And thank you so much to Kayla and Rebecca for getting together and sending me these two books because I love them so much. Kayla also sent me a book that she was unhauling, and that is Cinder by Marissa Meyer. I really love the Lunar Chronicles series. This is the first book in that series, and I do own Winter, which is the last book in that series. I liked this series enough to want to kind of start collecting it, and Kayla knew that I liked it, so she was like, well, I have a copy of Cinder in hardback if you want that. And if you guys don't know, the Lunar Chronicles is a series of 4 books that are all science fiction retellings of classic fairy tales. So Cinder is a retelling of Cinderella, but it is set like way in the future with all these like science and technological advancements, and Cinder herself is actually part cyborg. I think it's a really cool series. I really enjoy it, and I do have a full series review up on the Lunar Chronicles, as well as my suggested reading order for the novellas if you guys want to know more about my thoughts on this series. I was also given a copy of This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab by my friend Jenna from the channel Jenna Claire K. Jenna had picked up this copy at a Victoria Schwab signing, and Jenna also received a copy of this in her Owlcrate subscription, so she just gave me the extra copy. And this book is actually the only one in this haul video that I have not even started yet, so I really don't know how to sum up what it's about because I don't really like to read the full like book summaries because I sometimes think those give too much away. But from what I know of it, this is set in a fantasy world where real monsters are born out of the violent acts of humans. So in this story you are following one human character and one monster character. Then I was sent a copy of The Female of the Species by Mindy McGinnis by my friend Reggie over at the channel Don't Stop Reading. Mindy McGinnis had a book signing near Reggie, and Reggie knows, like everyone knows, I'm a huge Mindy McGinnis fan. She's one of my favorite authors. I do have a review up of this. This is a contemporary novel set in a small town, and it follows 3 different points of views, and this book just basically is tackling rape culture. It has a couple of female friendships in it, shows females standing up for each other. This is one of the most impactful, probably one of my favorite books of this year. I have 2 more books on this list, and these 2 books were sent to me by publishers. So the first of those is Unblemished by Sara. I am friends with Sara, so she had her publisher Thomas Nelson send me a finished copy of her debut novel. This is an urban fantasy about a girl who has really low self-confidence. She has a birthmark on her face that she hates, and one day she finds out that there is another parallel world that she is part of, and that in that world her blemish is actually her biggest strength. This world is an epic tale about light versus darkness, and I have a video up on 5 reasons you should read it. And lastly, I was sent a copy of The Amateurism by Shepard by her publisher, Freeform Books. They sent me this copy in exchange for an honest review, and they wanted to sponsor a review video. That video is already up if you want to hear my full thoughts on this one, but the reason that I accepted receiving this copy is because I'm sure you guys have seen like all of my other reviews of all of her series, so I do actually really love Sara Shepard, so I definitely wanted to check out her new book. The Amateurs is the first book in a new trilogy from her, and this one is about a girl that went missing 5 years ago. She was discovered dead a few years after that, and the police were never able to solve this mystery of what happened to her, and her younger sister was the last person that ever saw her alive. So now that it's 5 years after her disappearance, her sister has posted on the message boards of this website that is dedicated to solving unsolved crimes. And her posting actually attracts a group of 3 people that know each other on this website, and they come to her small town to start investigating this mystery. And that is the last book that I have acquired in the past 3 months. So that is my book haul for this past fall of 2016. If you guys have read any of these books, I would love to hear your thoughts on them. You can chat with me down in the comments, or you can catch me on Twitter. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what the last book that you got was. Have a great day, and I will see you in the comments. Bye!